you an angel?
I heard your prayer, Sarah.
I think the church's prayers have gone unanswered.
God stopped listening to us a long time ago.
Do not be afraid.
Welcome to another Sunday night Indiesphere. Casual one tonight. I'm kind of waiting on Tyler to get here. Hopefully he'll be here in a minute. This is kind of a Halloween themed one. Not too crazy. Don't have jack-o'-lanterns and shit in the place, but just gonna kind of go over some horror movies. I asked Tyler to kind of talk about like his top 3 favorites. I'll probably talk about my top 3 favorites, maybe 4, 5 or 6. But anyways, first let's get down to business. First of all, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Subscribing allows you to chat. If you don't want to chat, cool. But try to subscribe. Trying to get a few more subscribers. And then my current campaign between Demons and Angels Volume 2 is still going on for about another 3 months. And the link is in the description of the video here, the live stream. So click on that and check it out. And if you can, back it. There he is. There's a man. Get him on here. There he is. Welcome, buddy.
What's up?
The usual shit. How you doing?
Hold on.
What's up? Man, I'm gonna have to send you a poster to put in the middle there. I don't know if it fit. It looks like it might. God, you got a lot of moss. Man, you have a
No
lot
point in talking with you if I can't hear what you got to say to me.
Yeah, that's cool. It's like, dude, last week, I don't know if you saw the show last week, but I started and I was fucking muted because I usually, I mute while the videos are playing. And I'm talking and I forgot that I was muted, and Christy was like, "You're muted, by the way." I'm like, "Oh Christ!" So this time I was like, actually, I think my beginning went perfect this time. I did the videos one after another. I'm not muted, so it takes about 14 tries for me, but I finally got it. Which is what we're on. We're on episode 14, man.
Time flies,
dude. I didn't think this would go this long. I mean, honestly, when I started doing this, I thought month, 6 weeks tops, and then I'd be like bored. I'm like, fuck this. But I don't know, keeps going, so it's cool. So I was actually in the middle. Oh, actually, since you're here, I'm doing the business real quick, the campaign bullshit. I just want to show the latest page I finished. I think you've seen it because if you're on Twitter, you've seen it. Why does this never work? I swear to God, this is so weird. Let's try this. Nope, not that. Do I have it not open? Maybe I don't have it open. No, there it is. Okay, hang on. Try this again. Give me a second.
Yeah, I got on X and I saw your
There it is.
Your message saying that you was gonna start just a little bit early, and I was like, "Oh crap, let me go ahead and get on."
Dude, it's the only reason why is because I was ready early. Dude, I am never ready early. I'm like ready like exactly at 8 or sometimes a few minutes after. But for some reason tonight, it's because this is a casual stream. Because it's you're cool. You know, we're just hanging out. You know what I mean? There's no interview. There's no nothing. It's like we're just fucking hanging out. So anyways, this is the latest page I finished. I finished this about 2 days ago. Let me full screen this. And as you can see, it's a battle scene. This is the fun part for me, at least. This is one of 10 pages in a battle. At the end, the last chapter of the book is 14 pages. 10 of the pages is a battle. And this is 1 page out of 10 to show you the amount of action, fire, explosions, and blood and bullshit that's going on in this, as you can see.
All the doubters and haters.
What do you mean, doubters and haters?
Like, people who said the first issue's not actiony enough. There's not enough.
Oh yeah, no, that was that was my buddy Austin. He's a real, he's a real life friend. He's not on Twitter or any of this shit. He actually was I think he was the first backer of the first campaign. I couldn't fucking believe it. I was like, he was like the last, it's kind of like you, right? Like the people you least expect. I think it's both there. The people you least expect to step up are the fucking ones that step up. The ones you're kind of counting on and like, oh, and they fucking disappear on you. I shit you not. It's just like, it's one of the rules of life. It's like the ones you expect to help don't, and the ones you least fucking expect are always the ones that like come out on top. You're that way, and Austin's that way. Austin is this young friend of mine, like younger than you. He's like 26 or something. And yeah, he commented about the first book, about volume 1, saying how he's like, well, there's no sword fights in it. And I'm like, not yet. I said
there will be.
Oh, don't worry, there will be. And this is the start of it. Don't worry, you get your shit in this volume.
They're not just carrying swords for nothing.
Exactly. And no one's fucking everyone's wearing armor and multiple weapons. If you notice, there's swords and daggers and this and fucking that. And there's a reason for that. And but the first book, I mean, obviously I was like, I should have a battle or something. But it just the way that, and you've read it. The way the story is, it's like you're setting it up. It's like this easing into it. You know what I mean? And you have to explain what the fuck is going on. And you can't just throw in a fucking battle for the sake of a battle, right? Yeah. And that's a rule I have for myself when it comes to the adult content. You know what we're talking about? The adult content. Yeah. I'm not throwing it in there just to throw it in there to get shock value. Ooh, it's like this one right now, volume 2. I hate to disappoint you, but there's none of that. There's no sexual content. There's no nudity. There's nothing. None of that shit from the first book is in volume 2. Instead, you have a lot. You have battles. You have 2 battles. One of which is 10 pages. The other one's about 2 or 3 pages. So it's kind of that whole, well, you don't get this, but you get this instead. Then if I actually get to do volume 3, then you're probably going to have both. You'll probably have the battles and the, racy stuff. Rick's here. Cool. Welcome, Rick. That's all right. Rick has, he's not an internet expert yet, but he's working on it. So Tyler, we are not expecting much out of you. Oh, here we go. Hey, I can do this now. That was really cool last week. Did you see the show last week, dude?
Me?
With Christian? Yeah.
Yeah, that was
you were there. You were there. You were live. You were there in chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can always rely on you, and usually Danny. Usually you and Danny are always on chat. My brother most of the time, but I think last weekend he didn't, but he was out of town or something. I don't But anyways, last week it was cool because Christy kind of helped out with these little streaming things like this. Like I didn't realize all you have to do is click on the
Yeah, he was saying that.
I'm like, why didn't I even try it? But I'm like, I'm so afraid to click something like it's going to end the stream or break something. And you know what I mean? So anyway, so now we can show chats, which is really cool. So Danny should be happy because all the chatting that she does, I can post all that shit on the screen. And then there was something else. There was like 2 or 3 things that I kind of learned with Christy last week. So anyways, this is the page. Just to give you a sneak peek. And like I said, it's not really ruining anything because this is 1 page out of 10 of a battle. But as you can see, what I love is explosions. If you can't tell, explosions everywhere. And there's a little green explosion and more fire and sparks and more sparks. And then there's cool blood there and there's cool blood there and there's more fire there. This is the shit I think should be in battles is all this stuff, man. Fire, explosions, blood, steel. You know what I'm talking about? So anyways.
I'm getting like the Black Knight vibes from Monty Python. Remember the Dark Knight or Black Knight, whatever.
Because and he's just a stump.
He's just unstoppable. I'm
well, this
is he's got like fire on him and stuff. It's like you can't stop him.
Exactly. Not so much. Like I said, not a lot of comedy and humor in this.
Oh yeah,
story.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like kind of like that Terminator aspect of like, he just keeps coming at you. Yeah,
and that's kind of how this is. However, what I noticed when I was all finished, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of black and red in this. Well, that's okay how it is. But both sides are all in black. I'm like, this might be hard to distinguish. Now, this is 1 page, and leading up to it is 13 pages, more or less. So you will see. But, this is the assassin who's actually one of the quote-unquote good gals. This down here is Peric. He's the little leader of this 5 crew of thieves, rogues, and stuff. But the enemies are black. Everyone's in fucking black. And so it's like, these are the guards, and they all look the same. See, this guard here, he just got nailed. This is the guard who was here. See, 2 remaining guards charge. This guy's one of them. This guy's second one. Second one gets taken out by thieves. Pow. This is the guy who was in the lead, and he's fighting Peric, and Peric fucks him up, as you can see. So I did notice that. I'm like, wow, everyone's in black. Okay, well, hopefully you can tell a difference. If not, sorry. But you should, like I said, this is what they call taken out of context. It's like you have no idea what led up to this.
I don't know what's going on in this scene other than,
and that's cool. And that's why I'm kind of showing this to you because it's not really spoiling anything. 1 page of a long battle isn't really spoiling anything, considering you don't even know who these characters are and stuff. So it's like, so I probably, like, as I finish the battle pages, I probably won't show too many, because I'm like, well, obviously I'm not going to show every single page of the battle on fucking Twitter or here because, it'll ruin something. But I'll try to do maybe two or three, ones that don't really give hints. So anyways, if you haven't backed Volume 2 on Fund My Comic, do it. It's cheap. It's $15 versus $25. See, Tyler, I don't think people that don't know crowdfunding don't really know this little nugget of info. A 48-page full color book. Usually they do 25. It's 25 to back it plus shipping, so it's always like 35. You know what I mean? For me, my 48-page book, full color, I bumped it down to 15, right? Hoping to get a little edge, which doesn't seem to be working. But, that's just how it is. It's like, I think if I spread the word and people realize, wow, this is only 15 versus 25, maybe they'll check it. I don't know. So anyways, if you're watching this and someone maybe who's into that kind of shit, let them know. And back my fucking shit. It'd be really cool because I'd really like to do a third one. But if I don't get more backers, I might not be able to do a third one. So, all right, now on to the Halloween shit. Now on to the horror movies. So let me get this out of here. Hang on.
Yeah, bought the guest last week. Remember, I bought their book.
Christy, her magazine.
Yeah, I was person. I placed the order while y'all was on the show.
That's right. Yeah. You did that. You're good that way. You're good that way. You do that a lot. Yeah, that's right. I remember that because I was like, well, this is cool. See, it wasn't like a total waste of her time. I always I don't worry about it. It doesn't really bug me too much. It's just one of those stupid little things because it's like I only have 50 subscribers, as you know. And this is like a fucking ghost channel, kind of like me. I'm like a ghost artist. No one knows about me for shit. And so I'm always like, their expectations, like someone coming on like Christy or Aaron, who was whatever 3 weeks ago, they're probably like, I ain't gonna get shit out of this. You know, no one's gonna back my shit. This guy doesn't have viewers for shit. And so it's always kind of a nice surprise when one or two people actually do back it. Suddenly it's kind of like, see, fuckers, I can have a small channel and still have cool people. And you are the example of the cool person. And my brother too. My brother helps a lot.
Yeah, I remember kind of how that was in my former life when I was playing music. You know, I'd book different shows and stuff, and my band would be playing, but there would also be these other bands that would come through. And sometimes we would book the shows in other places like that we had never played before.
Right.
We didn't have a draw there.
Yeah.
People didn't know who we were. It was the first time we were playing, but we were booking the event at that venue. And so we would get all these other bands together and you know, they're driving 30 minutes, an hour, maybe 2 hours to the show.
Yeah.
And we don't know what we're getting into. We've just said, hey, come out and play this show with us. We'll give you, $100 or whatever, to play the show. And, in their mind, they might be thinking it's going to be this great opportunity. They're going to get to play for new fans or make new fans, new audience, new area. And then if it doesn't pop off and there's only like 20 people that come out to the show, then they just feel like, why did I drive an hour and a half down the road to play for basically a bunch of bands? There's only like 3 or 4 people actually in the crowd that paid the door fee. Everybody else out there is just band members from other bands.
Yeah, like I said, you've got to love what you do, whether it's music or art or acting or whatever the fuck it is, because at first it's going to be real hard to amount to shit. You know what I mean? And I'm learning that definitely with this stuff, with this whole crowdfunding shit. So I love this. I love this story. I love all this shit. I love doing all this shit. But there's that practical side, and it's just like when you don't have a ton of people, you start to, and you're working day and night, and you start to wonder, what the fuck am I doing this for? You know what I mean? And then you always come back to, well, I love it. It's cool. And the few people who do back it, you, for example, and the others, they like it. So it's something, you know what I mean?
When it's a passion kind of thing, you get something out of it.
Right.
You do feel good doing it. However, that I don't know, that pleasure you get from doing whatever your passion is, it fizzles out really fast when it feels like no one else appreciates
it. No one else cares. Yeah, it can. And again, fortunately, like, because of people like you, and I notice, I mean, dude, you're basically the top promoter. It's like you repost my shit, everything I post, and Danny's pretty good too. You and Danny basically are the two main people that, on Twitter at least promote my shit. And so that helps, like today I got a compliment on that page from a guy who's got a pretty big account, and he gets around, he does a lot of shit. And he was like, dude, this is total heavy metal. And it made my fucking day. You know what I mean? I was just like, that's cool, man. This dude digs this fucking action page. And he was like, dude, this is total heavy metal, man. And I was like, it just made my fucking day. One little comment from some fucking guy. And I mean, I don't even think he's back the book, but it's cool because he noticed it. He commented. And I was like, that's fucking cool. So, you know what I mean? It's the little shit like that which like, okay, I guess I'll work on it tonight. You know what I mean? Whereas opposed to saying, fuck this, you know what I mean? I'm taking a break or whatever. You just got to keep at it. So anyways, blah, blah, fucking blah. So on to what we're going to talk about now, Tyler. Horror movies. And I heard you're an expert. I heard you've been watching horror movies since you were like 6. You've watched thousands and written reviews, right?
I'm quite versed in those scary films.
No, I'm no expert either. My brother's the expert. My brother's been he's been into horror since he was like too young to be into horror. My story with horror is I was too young when I saw The Exorcist, and it was not edited. Back in the old days, I guess apparently there were channels that showed The Exorcist and it wasn't edited. So you saw all the shit. And I must have been 10 or something. I was fucking way too young to see a movie like that. Needless to say, it left an impression on me because what I'm doing now, I would obviously say is somewhat Exorcist-like. At least it has some themes to it. The whole demonic shit and all that crazy shit. So I guess in a good way, seeing The Exorcist as a young kid kind of helped in a way. I'm sure it damaged me as well, but you know, whatever.
When I was probably like 4 or 5.
When you saw it?
Yeah, parts of it. My mom would.
Damn, dude. Good for her.
She was like, "Let's watch a movie," and then I was like, "Man, it's a great movie."
Yeah, it really.
I didn't really get to see anything. All I heard was her screaming.
Yeah, it's a fucked up movie. And so what we'll do is, I know you talked about some of the movies you thought were cool. So let's start with like one of yours. What you want to start with, top down or down to top of the, because we basically said the top, like your kind of 3 favorites. You know what I mean?
Well, the 3 that I mentioned in the past, let's see, was it with those butterflies, moths? Yeah, I've seen Silence of the Lambs. I kind of grew up with that.
Dude, that was the first thing it reminded me of. And then you showed me the Death's Head moth, which was cool.
Yeah, I got it over there.
Dude, because it looks so much cooler, like under that glass. You know what I mean? Because all I've seen is photos, you know, on the internet and shit. But it's like, wow, to really see it, that thing's fucking badass, dude. I can see why they picked it. You know what I mean? For that movie, I'm like, I would too. That thing's cool as shit.
I got a pretty wild collection.
You do. I mean,
you can only see it like half, maybe not even a half, like just a fragment behind me.
I mean, I've never. You are definitely unique, man. I've known some really fucked up, crazy, strange people in all my travels in my life. I have never met anyone who has a collection like you of moths, I have to say. So well, you're a new one to me, man.
Everything behind me, these are all butterflies.
Butterflies. Yeah.
This is my dining room, and all around me is just butterflies. Over in the living room, that's where I have the moths.
The moths. So funny. To me, they look the fucking same. I can't tell the difference between a moth and butterfly. So well, I'm not educated on that. Check
this one out. This is a butterfly.
Yeah, that's pretty, dude. The patterns are beautiful.
It looks crazy like a moth, but it's a butterfly. Yeah. And then I got some moths over there that are really bright and pretty. They're moths, but they come out during the day.
That's cool.
So that's why they're so vibrant.
So how did you get into this, man? Because this isn't like what most people are into. I've never met anyone who's into this stuff.
Well, actually, my house was kind of like a museum of my own artwork for a while.
Okay.
So for many years, all around my house was just paintings that I did.
Yeah.
And I was, I liked my paintings. I thought they were cool. And sometimes I'd change them out and put a new one. And then, I don't know, I just had this revelation. I was like, you know what?
Wow.
God's a better artist than me.
Wow. It's true. He's the ultimate artist. And again, being an artist, one can easily mistake it for me trying to compare myself. No, not at all. The fact is, he's known as the creator. What's a fucking creator? Is a category of artists. Now I say, okay, there are many types of creators. There's sculptors and musicians and all sorts of fucking creators, right? I'm not saying I relate to God or whatever because I draw on. No. I'm just simply saying the fact is he's a creator. He created all this cool shit. And as you know, if you look at the planet and moths and butterflies and plants and insects and every other fucking thing, trees and grass and all that shit, this is some cool shit. You know what I mean? It really is beautiful. Like, I was always fascinated by trees, right? Like, if I see a cool fucking tree, I'm like, why do I think that's attractive? There's no reason why since I can remember, like at 5 years old, well, I would look at a certain tree and just be in awe of it. Like, that's so cool. You know what I mean? Like, why do I think that's cool and not a rusted fence or something, or a telephone pole? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm always trying to dissect my interpretation and logic of things around me. And I just think that natural beauty, like nature, as in God created stuff, is just more beautiful than man-made creations. You know, like, we've done some cool shit, you know, paintings and whatever, Michelangelo, sculptures, all this shit in certain buildings, churches or whatever. But there's something about nature. I mean, whether it's mountains or trees or whatever, man, it's just, I don't know. It's just most people immediately identify it, like sunsets. I mean, who doesn't love a good sunset? If you don't love a good sunset, I think there's something fucking wrong with you. I mean, seriously, it's like, you know what I mean? You have to appreciate that shit, I think. I
like just after the sun has gone down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's now gone. It's beyond the horizon.
Yeah.
But there's still a slight glow. I really like it when there's like big poofy clouds and they're like above me. So they're above me.
That's cool.
But the sun is already set. So what happens is the clouds are still in the sunlight.
Yes.
Yes. They're so high, they're above the horizon. So they're fully illuminated. They're like glowing like a golden color. Mm-hmm. But then I'm down in the shadow. I'm in the darkness. I can appreciate the clouds even more. Mm-hmm. I'm looking into another world.
What I love when it comes to the clouds is when there's I'm no expert on clouds either, but the really big puffy ones, you know, like.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I think those are
there's names for cumulus or something, but the bottom's kind of flat and they just really are hot. You know what I mean? Yeah. When you have clouds like that and the sun is, like you said, down below the horizon, but the sun is still beaming it because of the curvature. When that cumulus cloud is like the top is lit, it's like the tops of trees. There's when I'm out on my balcony to my behind right is a forest. And when the sun sets, the way everything is laid out, the sun, you know, hits the tops of the trees. And there's that few minutes where it's just like the top 5 to 8 feet of all the trees that are lit with that golden sunsets, and the rest is all shadow. I fucking love that shit. It's so cool. It's like the trees are all shadowed except for just this little part that's catching the sun. Visually, it's neat, and it's really fucking fun to draw too. And I need to do that more. I'm like, I need a scene in the book where I can show that, where the sun is hitting the tops of trees or something, because it has a really neat effect.
When I was a kid, those big old poofy clouds, they would like, I don't know, like that sparked my creativity, because I'd look up at those big clouds, like, and you see all these layers, and it's just so high up, and it keeps going. Like my mind was always like, "What's up there?" And I was thinking like that's a thing that you can stand on, and I was like, I want to explore through that. You know, like all the little things, like what's hidden up there? It looks like a cool place,
dude. I've never met anyone who said that, and I think the same fucking thing even today when I look at the clouds. And maybe we're just two simple-minded idiots who like, oh, clouds are so cool. You know what I mean? But if you really look at them, they're fucking beautiful. I mean, dude, our heads are in the clouds. They're beautiful, and the fact is they actually are objects. Now I know, obviously, you pass through them because they're whatever gaseous, whatever the fuck they are, but they actually are there. They are not completely solid, but they're not exactly, you know, pure gas. It has a form to it, and like that. I always think about the flying. I'm like, man, if I could just jump off my balcony and fly like Superman or whatever, I would so go to those fucking clouds and just fly around them and in and out. And this corner of the cloud here that's kind of like this, I would definitely like circle around there and check it out. I mean, just it's in the fucking sky. You know, it's this object that's in the sky.
Yeah.
Then that's why I'm obsessed with the fucking moon. Ever since I was a kid, I've been obsessed with the moon because, dude, this is a fucking basically a mini planet right just fucking there.
Up there.
You can tell, and you know, obviously, you know, we've had people go there and they've walked it. But as a kid, I'm like, if there is some way I could go there, I could walk there. I could walk on that. It's so fucking mind blowing. Even me now as an adult, I'm looking at it going, this is a 3-dimensional fucking sphere. This is a fucking place that exists. It's like another planet, another world, you know? Yeah. And I know, well, technically it's this. I'm not fucking saying that. I'm saying it's not fucking Earth. You're off of Earth and you're on another fucking location that's not a space station. You know what I'm saying? It's a fucking mini little planet called the moon or whatever. But the fact is you can walk on the fucking thing or whatever. That's nuts to me. And this is why at an early age I got into astronomy and everything. Because then you've got Mars. And of course now with, you know, Elon and all the fucking shit going to Mars. Dude, I'm just like, this is nuts. Because this is a desert planet. You're talking basically a red Tatooine, right? And I love Tatooine. It was my favorite planet in the whole Star Wars universe. And I'm like, there it is. You know what I mean? It's just weird. It's not sci-fi. This isn't a matte painting or digital art that Lucas, Industrial Light and Magic created. No, this is fucking real. It's a planet that's near us, and we are traveling to the fucking place. And fucking Elon wants to build cities and live there. It's really nuts if you think about it. But I think you don't, because there's so much shit going on in your daily life. You really don't stop and think how crazy it is. But it is another world that one day people might be living on. I mean, it's just blows me away.
You want to think something really cool? You know, when we look at the moon, when it's our moon, when we look at it and it's fully lit up,
right.
We have what we call the man in the moon or the face on the moon. You know, what I'm talking about? It looks kind of like a face. Yeah, cumulus cloud.
Cumulus, yeah. Thank you for he's cluing us in here.
I think.
And here we go. Clouds are water droplets. As the droplets build on top of each other, they create a puffy appearance. Wow. I'm glad you're here, man. You're filling in our gaps here. Our
while we're speculating, he's
our fucking
fact checker.
Clueless conversation. Yeah, he's our fact checker. Exactly right. So okay, well, I'm glad that you're here, man.
Anyway,
okay, so go ahead.
So when we look at the moon, you can see that kind of shape. It looks kind of like a face. And what we see when we see that is the moon is this really bright white kind of color. Right?
It's not.
But those like the eyes and the mouth, it's this really dark shape. These like dark, it's not just craters, it's like a valley, these dark areas.
Right.
Well, those dark areas, they exist because those are old lava flows. So long time ago, the moon was active and it had active volcanoes. And so it actually had big flowing lava going on there. So basically, literally, there was a time instead of like now when we see the moon, we're like, yo, check it out. It's bright and there's these dark eyes and mouth. Right. Instead, you would have time when, like, let's say it was just a crescent. So it's just the very edge that's illuminated. All that shadow area, it would have been a glowing eyes and mouth.
That's weird.
It was all lava.
That's cool.
So you would look up and you would see in the darkness this glowing eyes and
a smiley face. There'd be a giant smiley face.
Glowing smiley face like a jack-o'-lantern up in the sky.
Maybe that's where the idea came from for jack-o'-lanterns. Who knows?
But remember Nightmare Before Christmas, the sun is a jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Anyway, Night Before Christmas, horror movies, all that good stuff.
horror movies, all that good stuff. So, yeah, throw one out there, buddy. Let's start this. Throw one out there. What do you think?
Well, I saw that you recently was checking out Event Horizon.
Yes.
Man, I just so happened to stumble on that a couple years ago. And I was
Really?
like, yeah. I probably saw it maybe 3 or 4 years ago for the first time.
Okay.
And I loved it. I was like, this is awesome. I used to play a video game called Dead Space.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
And yeah, Dead Space is very much inspired by Event Horizon.
That's cool.
With Dead Space, the thing that's so awesome about it, and it's the trend that, because I mentioned to you several movies, and I said there's a link that links all these movies together.
Okay.
There's something that is in Event Horizon. It's in like 1408. It's in the Resident Evil games. It's in Silent Hill, The Thing. All these. There's something that links it all together.
Right.
And that thing is a scary environment, or a dangerous environment, a hopeless environment.
Gotcha.
To me, like, that's what makes a horror movie good.
The environment.
Yeah, because like you think about like in Dead Space, like or not Dead Space, sorry, Event Horizon. In the film Event Horizon, like what's there to be afraid of? There's no serial killer walking around.
Right.
There's no evil ghosts really that's walking around. It's just the ship. The ship, the location they're in is scary. And and it's more than just the ship is scary, because there's nothing else.
Right.
Because the main crew, the cast, they arrive on their own ship. They get off of their ship and go onto Event Horizon, and then their ship like explodes or something, if I remember correctly. And then they're trapped. And so they're in this ship, and there's nothing,
trapped
just empty space. Just empty space all around. And you realize there's no one that can come and save you. There's no hope.
Yeah.
And in that, I think is the real scary thing. Because like in the film 1408, in 1408, the character goes into the hotel room.
Right.
And suddenly he realizes he can't get out of the hotel room. He's trapped.
Yeah.
There's no serial killer. There's no ghosts. There's no demons. It's just he's in a place that he can't get out of, and no one can save him. Yeah. And then the same thing with like Silent Hill. Yeah. When the character goes into Silent Hill, she's trapped. She's just in this. It seems like there's no end. There's just this fog. Right. And it's the mystery of what's out there. And you know that no one's coming in there to save you. And there's no exit to be seen. Like you're just in there. And all you can do is just keep moving and try to survive.
Have you heard of a movie or seen a movie called The Descent? About the caves?
That sounds familiar, but I don't think I've seen it. Okay.
I own it, and I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it on, video first time. It's same thing.
Does that have like a big mouth thing on the cover?
Something? You know what?
I think it's got like a big mouth coming up from the bottom.
Yeah, I'm going to try to do a lot of visual aids tonight. So bear with me here. This is let's see here. Let's see if I can share this screen.
I've never seen the film, but I feel like I've seen the cover, and I'm good at remembering things, so that just kind of sticks with me.
Yeah. Let me see. Hang on a second. Yep. All right. Let me try to.
If I'm correct, then I guess there's some type of monster or something down below or something.
Yeah, it's that way. It's cool. It's hang on a second. Let me.
Now, I have seen a film called The Cave.
Okay, it's probably like that.
And have you ever seen the film The Cave?
No, but The Descent, it could easily be called The Cave because that's what it's about. It's about. Hang on a second. How am I going to share this screen? Let me try to close off this shit. Mm-hmm. All right, that's that. I'm going to keep that. Let's see if I can. Whoops. I'll try it again. Hold on. Share screen. Okay, here we go. All right, see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one of the images of The Descent. It's
people art.
There's there's I think it's like 6 women who all are whatever cavers, whatever you want to call it. They fucking explore caves. You know what I mean? That's their thing. You know, of course, they have some of them have a weird past because there's always, you know, it can't be just simply 6 innocent people go in a cave. There's like a little messed up, mysterious past between shit going on with this group of women. But anyways, these 6 women go in this fucking cave, and you know, of course, shit starts to little by little go wrong, and it gets to the point where they're basically trapped in there, and they are lost because someone who said they brought a map to a different cave and not this cave. Yeah, dude, it's nuts. And of course, they're not alone down there. You know, I don't want to ruin this for you because you really should watch it because it's the same kind of thing. They're trapped in this network of caves, and no one knows. They don't have a map, and no one's been down there before. So it's like, where the fuck are we? How do we get out of here? You know what I mean? And then one girl breaks her fucking leg, so now they got to drag her, and then another one. You know, it just keeps getting worse and fucking worse. It's crazy. Dude. It's a good fucking movie, and it's bloody as shit. It really
does remind me of that film I said, The Cave.
The Cave. Now, what's that about? Since we're on the topic, because I only have seen that.
Okay, so in The Cave, if I remember correctly, there's like a prologue flashback thing at the beginning. Showing the crew their worst memories.
Yes, he's talking about Event Horizon.
Yeah, Event Horizon.
Yeah.
And
now he's talking about The Descent got 80. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so Cave got real bad reviews.
Really? Well, tell me about it real quick. Give me the
okay, so it starts off with like this kind of prologue. And if I remember correctly, like people get buried alive in a cave.
Okay. Like accidentally or on purpose?
Yeah, it was like an accident, I think.
A cave in something.
Yeah, something like that. I feel like it was some type of church kind of thing too. But anyway, they get buried alive. Okay. Oh man, that's terrible. Shit happens. We can't save them. Anyway, let's go get a hot dog.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So then the movie starts, and then it's like many years in the future. And there's like the main cast, and they go underwater caving.
Okay.
And so they're doing underwater caving. I appreciate the movie simply on the fact of like they did a lot of underwater filming.
Okay, that's cool.
So the fact they had to go do all this underwater filming, that's probably really difficult. But anyway,
yeah.
So they did that. So they go up in this cave, and then because they've got like I guess a map or something, and they're like, there's a big open area, and we haven't really explored this area. Let's go do it. Where they go or something. And when they get underground, I think something happens. I can't remember what exactly happens, but something bad happens, an inciting incident. And that messes up their exit plan.
Right.
Effectively, they're trapped underground, and they're like, well, no, what are we going to do? We got to figure out how to get out of here.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, they kind of find like a flowing river thing.
Okay.
Underground, and they're like, this water's probably flowing to the surface somewhere.
Right.
So let's like jump in it. I don't know where it's going, but
or how long.
We have no other option. So so they do that, and like it just throws them further underground or something.
Oh, damn, dude. Well, again, I would recommend you watch
and then like
The Descent.
As they keep exploring underground, eventually they realize they're not alone. And some monsters start trying to like kill them.
Dude, this sounds a lot like The Descent.
But then they find out, wait a minute. This like there's like a monster instance where like a guy kind of sees it up close for a second and then it jumps off or something.
Right.
And he says, or what he saw was when he was shining the light, the monster actually had what looks like a tattoo on its arm.
Okay.
And he's like, clearly this monster isn't tattooing itself.
Right.
That used to be a human.
Yeah.
And so what's happened is the people who were buried alive long ago, they've somehow mutated underground and turned into these monsters. And so now the cavers are trying to outrun these monsters that have lost the ability to see. They don't see anymore.
Right.
Because they're underground. So now it's all sound. And
it sounds exactly like
they just hear everything around them. And it's just like, how are we supposed to run from something that can see everything around us like a bat?
Yeah.
And that's basically The Descent. Or not Descent, the Cave.
Well, it sounds like The Descent. So what you should do is watch The Descent, and then you can compare the two.
Maybe The Descent is the better version.
It sounds like it. It's not, because that's what Hollywood tends to fucking do. It's copycat shit. And I'd be interested to see which movie came out first, because I would suspect that if they came out roughly the same time, that means probably they heard about each other, because there's no coincidence that
I feel like The Cave is probably like 2002 or something, 2003.
I'm not sure what The Descent is, but I know The Descent is definitely after 2000. I think it's probably 05, 6, 7, but I don't know. I haven't looked it up.
Did you ever see the film called Pitch Black?
Tell me about it. That's not the one with Vin Diesel, is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Oh, that was great.
Pitch Black is the first film where he's Riddick.
Yeah, I saw the sequel, the Riddick. Yeah, the second one I saw. I don't think I saw the third, but I saw the second.
It was the first one was called Pitch Black.
Yeah, that was
the first
cool.
one.
That was fucked up.
And then the second one is the Chronicles of Riddick.
Right.
And then the third one is just ccalled, I think, Riddick.
Yeah, I saw the second, and it started to go that way. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, this was cooler. The first one's always fucking best.
Honestly, the third one, I don't like the third one.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I have it, I think. But anyway, I don't like the third one because it feels almost like a copy paste of the first one. Like it's bizarre. It's bizarre how close it is.
Weird.
It's just like, of all the like weird stuff you could have encountered, what are the odds that this dude got stuck on another planet and had to outrun monsters in the dark again?
Yeah. Well, true. Okay, Rick says that The Cave and The Descent both came out in 2005. So again, I'll bet you fucking dollars to donuts that
they was in two
one of them
each other.
Well, one of them had the idea first, and then someone heard about it and said, "Oh fuck, let's hurry up and do that." You know what I mean? That has happened many times.
Or someone got kicked out. Like
there's
could have been part of
whatever
the
reason, it's not a fucking coincidence. Because people in Hollywood hear about upcoming films and what they're working on and what this studio is working on, and often people will try to beat them to the game. And I remember, okay, you know what a good example is? Is the fucking Dungeons and Dragons film, the first one, and Lord of the Rings, because the Lord of the Rings people got wind of it, and they were working on it for years. I don't know. Like they heard about it like 5 years before it came out. And whoever the fuck made the first Dungeons and Dragons film was completely fucking sucked. I mean, it was like embarrassingly bad. They caught wind of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Holy shit. And I think they whipped together this Dungeons and Dragons film and released it like right before Lord of the Rings, or at least around the time. And in hopes that, well, if they're bringing back this, medieval fantasy genre, so let's jump on that fucking ship, and maybe our movie would do good. It sucked. It was fucking horrible, and it sucked. But Lord of the Rings went nuts. It get, Academy Awards, but Hollywood does that all the time. They like fucking copycat or hear wind, and then they hurry up and make a film real quick that they think is like this. It's amazing, dude.
Do you remember the really old kids film called Bug's Life?
A Bug's Life. That's like Pixar, right?
Yeah, it was the little blue ants.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I know of it because it was like everywhere. It seemed like.
They came out with Toy Story, the original Toy Story, and then like the next big hit was Bug's Life.
Okay.
Well, anyway, Bug's Life. Yeah, there's talking bugs, main characters, ants, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the like main, I don't know, character designers or something, he got let go.
Oh,
in the middle of the process, and so I guess he was mad or something, or maybe he really liked the idea. Anyway, he switched. He went over to whatever the other company was, and he led the creation of the film Ants.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever saw the movie Ants.
I never saw that either, but I know of it. Again, I know of it.
Yeah, so that's why in the same year you had A Bug's Life, this animated 3D cartoon kind of thing of talking ants. And you also had a movie called Ants, which was the 3D cartoony characters, and they're all ants. Yeah.
Again, so you know what I'm talking about. Like I said, I'm not like delusional. It's like this happens every few years. It's like one of the studios catches wind of this studio making this, this original kind of theme or direction or whatever. And they're like, oh shit, we got to do, you know what I mean? It's the competition's fucking insane.
I see that shit on YouTube a lot. So like I'll watch a lot of different reaction videos, people reacting to different movies and songs and stuff. Right. And there's like different subgenres, if you will, in the reaction world. So there's people who react to movies, people who react to cartoons, anime, songs, and whatever. And when you like start watching, like let's say you watch songs, for example, or if you watch reactions of songs, you'll get influenced. Yeah. You'll get influenced.
Did you see that? Did you see that?
Yeah,
Armageddon.
Yep.
Perfect fucking example, man.
But once you watch one, you'll get the YouTube algorithm will recommend other reactors. And so what I end up seeing is I'll see somebody react to, say, a particular movie, and then I'll turn right around and I'll see someone else within the same week, basically, I'll have 4 different reactors reacting to the same film.
Yeah.
It's just like, how is it these YouTubers, out of all the films in the world, coincidentally, they all chose to react to these same films?
Because they're watching each other.
Yeah, yeah. And
that's known fact, dude. They want, like, even the ones that hate, because I've learned this through watching the comic fucking people. It's like, there's enemy streamers. Like this big time streamer is enemies with this big time streamer, but they watch each other's fucking streams. I can't stand him. I hate him, but I'm going to watch him for 3 hours. It's like, Jesus Christ, just let it go. Let him do his fucking thing and you do your thing. But no, they're constantly, everyone's fucking watching the ones they hate. It's just, I can't do it again. But speaking of reaction videos, Tyler, we can react to the trailer of Event Horizon that we can play. So we can be very exaggerative with our reactions, like, or whatever. And maybe someone will be like, oh, look, a reaction video. Or we could do this. That's what I say. Fuck you, reaction videos. I personally don't like reaction videos at all, but that's just me. I don't go the way of most people, obviously, as you can tell. So let's check out Event fucking Horizon.
Doesn't take place in 2014.
Yeah.
At 0300 this morning, TDRS picked up an automated navigation beacon broadcasting at 2-minute intervals in Neptune orbit.
Are you hearing an echo? Like this me?
Yeah.
This is
You hear an echo?
the Event Horizon. She's come back.
No, we're good. We're good.
Event Horizon was the culmination of a secret government project to create a spacecraft capable of faster-than-light flight. ship doesn't really go faster than light. What it does is it creates a dimensional gateway that allows it to jump instantaneously from one point of the universe to another light years away.
Where's she been for the last 7 years, Doctor?
That's what we're here to find out.
After 7 years in deep space,
There were 18 people on board this ship when it disappeared. I want them all accounted for.
Opening outer door.
it came back abandoned.
Any crew? Negative. This place is a tomb.
But it didn't come back alone.
Captain Miller! I've got some problems here!
This ship has been beyond the boundaries of our universe. Who knows where it's been? And what it's brought back with it.
Did you hear that? What is it? The ship is reacting to us and the reactions are getting stronger.
What are you telling me? That this ship is alive?
I have such wonderful things to show you.
Oh my God! It knows my secrets. It knows my fears.
Hitting in your mind.
Vacate. I want off this ship.
You can't leave. She won't let you.
God help us.
It didn't say in the trailer, but whatever year the
future
the film
of
is
your
supposed to
business is here.
happen,
With Wick.
I can't remember. I think it takes place like 2019 or 2021. Whatever year that it's supposed to take place in, that's when I saw it.
Oh, that's
That was
cool.
Yeah, that was the year, and I was like, "Damn, I missed out." That's what they're out there doing, and I'm stuck in this fucking house.
I'm stuck here surrounded by butterflies and moths. What the hell?
They're floating out there around Saturn, and what the fuck am I doing with my life?
It's a movie, Tyler. It's a movie. But yeah, man, it was a fucking cool movie. In fact, I just watched it. What was it, like yesterday, the day before? Because I hadn't seen it in years, and I'm like, fuck, I got it on DVD. I'll check it out. And it's very Hellraiser-ish. You know, you see,
when you get into the flashes of the video that they have,
very
footage, like,
Hellraiser, yeah.
And like
Because you've seen the Hellraisers, right? Like, I mean, there's like 10 of them.
I've never seen any of the Hellraisers.
Oh, dude.
But I understand the Hellraisers. I've watched like deep dives into the lore of the Hellraisers. Like a lot of people, like, it's funny. I've never seen them, but I know things about Hellraiser.
Because the fucking internet, dude. How can you not? It ruins everything. It really does. It's like that's like Seven. Like anyone who has not seen Seven, they know the ending. So it's like, don't even bother watching it, man. I mean,
I've never seen it. I don't know the ending.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Tyler. Yeah, it's funny because, you know, you and I, you said this in the DM when I was like, hey, man, why don't you come on the show and let's talk about horror films? And you're like, I haven't seen many, and I'm afraid that it's going to be like, I'm gonna say, hey, have you seen this? And you'll be like, no, and I'll be like, oh, fuck, you gotta see it. We are doing exactly that right now. We're doing exactly that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Tyler, you got to see this fucking movie. So yeah, obviously, you know how I feel about Seven. It's to me, it's in
really
fact, I'm going to cover it here in a minute. It's one of my favorites. I mean, to me, I was just talking to my brother about this. In my own personal little spectrum of the best movies to the worst, Seven probably is a 10. Like, to me, it's like goddamn near perfect. There's nothing I would do differently, like if I were in charge, you know what I mean? Like, everything is fucking perfect. And so to me, that's a 10 movie. But that's just me. You know, obviously it's not that way for everybody. But for me personally, it's as good as it fucking gets. And it's not even categorized as horror. I categorize it as horror. But if you look it up, it's suspense, thriller, crime. Well, it's like fucking everything except horror. It's not considered horror. I saw it in the theater and I was fucking terrified. It sucked. You know what I mean? It was like, it was horrific to me. And why it's not categorized as a horror, I'm not really sure.
For horror, I think you have to specifically target like you have to follow like specific like murder, or you have to get into something that's like supernatural, like demons or ghosts or monsters or aliens, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, it's probably because it's a formula, because that's the other thing that you realize when you're a kid, you're clueless, and then when you're an adult and you learn about Hollywood and films and all this stuff, like all these films have a certain formula you have to follow. As in, you as a creator in Hollywood in the studio, there's this like unspoken secret formula for films in general, and then each type of film in general. And that's another reason why I like independent, indie films, like indie comics and indie fucking everything, because they don't follow the fucking rules, right? And to me, that's the ones that are breakthrough and that kick ass, because something like, I don't know, more recently in the last 10 or so years, where these independent creators are like, they don't have anything to do with Hollywood, And so they're like, well, fuck, we can do whatever the fuck we want. And some suck. Some are fucking insanely good. And I'm seeing a lot of horror films that are insanely good, and you've never heard of the actors involved, anything. But because they're independent, they don't have to suck the dick of Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? So they do whatever the fuck they want. And big surprise, they end up being fucking awesome. And so again, it's just one more reason why I like independent creations versus mainstream, whether it's mainstream comics, mainstream movies, mainstream fucking whatever. It's like, I like the indies because they're the Mavericks, man. They're the rogues. They do shit this way. You know what I mean? And it's not what you're used to. And I think that's fine. So what are they talking about? My brother said, here we go. It's a horror Halloween. Oh, okay. He's explained to her. Some great actors in Event Horizon. Yeah, very true. I don't really like Halloween. Danny, what? You don't like Halloween? Are you serious?
I don't think she likes people that dress up in silly costumes.
Well, they don't all have to be silly. In fact, there's this awesome meme. Dude, I got to post it. Holy shit, I got to post it tomorrow. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot. It's this perfect Halloween meme of two women. And it's like, there are two types of women on Halloween. And one is, the goofy in a fucking pumpkin outfit, and she looks like a dork. And the other, of course, is this hot chick with, horns and tight leather and big boobs. And dude, that's totally true. There's two types of women that dress up for Halloween, and it's the G-rated and it's the fucking like practically X-rated. That's very true. I thought Danny would be a total Halloween person, but I guess not. Every year a disappointment. Plus, it is my landlord's. Oh yeah, I know about that. Yeah, that's funny. I thought that's weird. I totally thought Danny would be into Halloween. Okay. So next. Okay, so Event Horizon. Cool. We saw the trailer. You mentioned. Oh, and let me tell you. Now we got to talk about Silent Hill.
Yeah.
I saw Silent Hill once in the theater with my brother when it came out. I don't remember shit. And recently, I jumped on YouTube and started checking it out. I'm like, why don't I remember this? This is like the fucking baddest ass movie. And I'm like, how do I not remember? Like, were we drunk when we went to the movie and I forgot everything? It hasn't been that long. But dude, obviously Pyramid Head is the coolest motherfucker. I mean, he's straight from hell. That's like a twisted, insane person's idea of a creature from hell. I'm like, why can't I think this way? Because it's a certain type of people, and I am not the type of person. But I'm going to start studying this. I'm going to start studying all these fucked up monsters, man. And I actually started today. I started collecting pictures of really fucked up monsters in movies and shit. And I'm going to force myself to learn how to do this because I need to create new demon characters for the story. And I think I'm making them too pretty, to be honest. You know what I mean? I'm like, there's too many hot, sexy demon chicks in this story. I'm like, where is the fucked and ugly, terrifying shit? Oh, I sure found some to study and say, okay, how'd they do this? And how, you know what I mean? Where I can make my own demon,
With Pyramid Head, the creator of Silent Hill wanted to create a monster that was as not human as possible, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Like, obviously, like, it wasn't just a contorted, evil, super monster thing like the Thing,
Right.
But that's why he put that big old pyramid on his head, because there's no eye holes, there's no face. It's odd. Everything that we think of as a head is round and circular.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even if it's a square, it still feels sort of right. But for a triangle, that's just so abnormal. So that's why he went with that.
Right.
But yeah, Pyramid Head. He's
Well,
cool.
Trump.
I made a Pyramid Head costume, sort of. It's just kind of a makeshift thing, but it's pretty cool. I was bored, and a person I know was joking about being Pyramid Head one day, and I was like, "You should make a Pyramid Head, helmet and do that." And she was like, "I have no idea how to do that." And I was like, "Okay." So I set up my camera and got my cardboard, and I just on the fucking fly just filmed myself cutting. Like, I made a whole video and I posted it on Facebook. I was like, this whole 10-minute video and fast forward of me cutting it up and making a full Pyramid Head mask hot glued together. So in the other room, I have a Pyramid Head.
All right, Danny is a little bit of love here, Tyler. Danny just said no. It's just here. Okay, now here is Berlin, Germany, so we can't really help with that. But
yeah.
So I am sick of getting costume Maloney's. Yeah, no, I hear you. I'd be the same fucking way. Buying kilograms of that sucks, man. That sucks. Oh, Danny, I feel for you, man. I agree. I wouldn't do it either if that were the case.
The best part though is, Danny, if you try to celebrate Halloween and you put on a cool costume, you buy a bunch of candy, and no one ever comes by, and no one eats the candy, no kids are coming through, and no one wants to party, and you feel all alone and sad, and you're like, geez, why'd I put on this cute little outfit with wings? You can always just eat all the fucking candy until you feel better.
until you get so fat you can't fit in the costume. Yeah, and then you don't feel bad that I can't dress up this year because I'm so fat I can't fit in the costume anymore. We got the problem solved. Danny, I think, you know what, Tyler, I think we need to have an advice column.
Then you just
I think we need to
have a chocolate coma.
Exactly right.
Wake
up.
See,
Danny agrees. See, she says cool.
Wake up and got chocolate all over your face.
Kurt will have to take some video. He's coming over Thursday. Hang in there. Oh, yeah, no, that sucks, Danny. That does really suck, because Danny would be awesome dressed up for Halloween. And that sucks. That really sucks. So I feel for you, Danny, and I don't blame you. It makes sense. It makes sense that you don't like Halloween because of that. Rejection's a bitch, isn't it? Rejection is a bitch. It sucks. So on to other things. Now, Tyler, this is something I discovered on YouTube the other day about Silent Hill. And I'm like, this is the coolest fucking shit I've seen in a long time. Why didn't I remember this in the theater? This should have scarred me. And I don't even remember this happening. So I'm like, I wonder if we drank before we saw the movie, because I don't remember any of this shit. So I'm not going to say shit, but if you're a Silent Hill expert, you will definitely recognize this scene. But I'm going to play this scene for whoever the fuck is watching, because this, to me, when it comes to horror film and body counts, this is probably up in the top 5 or maybe even 3 coolest body count instances I've seen in a movie. I couldn't believe how fucked up this was, and I love it. So we're going to watch it right now. So let's see if I can.
I think they made a second Silent Hill film. I never watched it.
They did make a sequel. I haven't seen that. I still need to get the first, man. It's like I want
the first.
I'm going to order on DVD, and I will watch it over and over and study it and all this shit, because that's what I do when I really like a movie. But I'm going to go full screen for this. And let's see, did that work? And here we go. Pyramid Head is coming.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so the way it works.
Here's your atmosphere, Tyler. Look, your atmosphere.
Church isn't for
I fucking love this shit, dude.
Yeah, so in Silent Hill, it's really foggy like this, but it's peaceful. This is the peaceful time.
But you know what? This isn't fog, man. You know what this is, right?
Yeah, this is all the ash.
The ashes.
Yeah, this is the ash
And
from
that
the fire.
That siren, dude, that's fucking badass.
And whenever the
That
siren,
I hate.
that's when they know the darkness is coming.
The siren.
So
I hate sirens because they always scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Because we had tornado sirens that sounded like this.
Yeah, and so they gotta get in the church because that's the only place where it's safe.
I'm gonna go back full screen.
But that horn, that's the harbinger of death.
It is.
You are not from sanctuary, but from your fears. Do not join the others that deceive us. They're damned.
We gotta get inside.
No. The wolves in the skin of sheep. They brought about their own hell. They'll take you with them.
Filth and lies! Hey, stop it!
I've seen your daughter. I've seen a lesson.
There's a great moment that some people might miss. Coming up. It's this woman.
Rose, hurry!
Here in a second, we'll do this number.
She brought us here, didn't she?
Oh, she conjures him.
Yeah, she points at this woman right here.
Why?
Yeah.
She hits her with
she
it.
Want?
Yeah.
And then Pyramid Head shows up.
That fucking siren, dude. That's so creepy. Look at this shit, dude. Dude, everything goes dark. I'd be like, fuck this. I am out of here, man.
Now, Silent Hill is based off a video game.
I know. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, this is the coolest
Here it
fucking
is.
shit I've seen.
See, watch right here.
Yeah. See, he points at her. Yeah.
It's like, take her. She's the one.
Yeah. Yep. That's fucking bad, dude. He does it so they can see. He's showing them. He's showing them her.
He's the master of Silent Hill.
Look at that.
Oh, God,
Dude. That's so fucking bad. Holy shit. Fuck, man.
That's when they're like,
Dude,
we had nothing to do with that. Well, we're not with him. We don't know what that was about. We're just tourists.
Dude, when I saw that just a couple of days ago on YouTube, I must have watched it 5 fucking times. I'm like, how the fuck did I not remember this scene? I saw this in the theater. This should have like freaked me the fuck out. And I don't even remember this. Maybe it did so bad I like blacked it out. I don't know.
But
that's the coolest shit I've seen, man.
That's a cool scene. But I will say,
the scene with the sword is badass too. When he's stabbing through the fucking door. Oh, dude, that's bad.
Well,
I thought of showing that, but I'm like, no, this one's better. I'm going to show this because I don't want to show too much shit tonight.
I would say there's 2 other scenes, at least, in my opinion, that are just as like rough and tough as that scene.
Which is what?
I'm saying
the first movie?
Yeah, in the first Silent Hill movie.
All right.
There's, I would say, at least 2 other scenes that are just as rough as that scene we just watched in the movie. So the one we just saw, that's only like 1 of 3. But there's some really cool other monsters in the film as well. It's not just Pyramid Head.
Yeah. I went back because I never played the Silent Hill video game.
Me neither.
And really? Oh, that sucks. And I looked into it, and of course I wouldn't now because like the graphics are really like it's really old. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
They just did a remake of Silent Hill 2 for one of these newer gens. I don't know what it
Okay.
was. I was watching a playthrough, and it's really awesome. You know, modern graphics, so it looks really good.
That's cool.
Except for this one chick who they made her look kind of fat, so the mods are making her look hot. But fix that little issue.
But yeah, I started, I started researching Silent Hill and the monsters, or demons, whatever. And so that was my kind of like my first realization of I need to make my demons in my story uglier and scarier. Dude, this is some fucked up shit. And I'm like looking at all these different demons. Because see, when you're, when you're making a movie, there are so many ways to scare people. There's the sound, everything's moving. You can have it all go dark and have a face flash. There's so much when it's a fucking drawing, how is a drawing scary? You see what I'm saying? The only way a drawing can be scary in a graphic novel is the drawing itself, the art itself. So you have to think of something so fucking ugly and scary by looking at it and then draw the fucking thing. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, I need to study this. And that's what you do. You go to the horror masters, these artists, because everything starts as a drawing, the concept design, they create this shit. And there's certain things about it that you notice as an artist. And one of the main things I've noticed when it comes to the Silent Hill monsters and demons, nothing is asymmetrical. Everything's off, lopsided, disfigured. You know what I mean? Nothing is like, there's no head that is like ours, center to eye. Everything's fucked up in some way. And so I'm like, that's interesting because psychologically that's disturbing to us because we're so used to the more attractive people have very asymmetrical features. They've proven this psychologically. If you're a little off, you're considered not as attractive. So think about that. If you're really fucking off, well, then you're considered, horrific or whatever. So
yeah, that's actually something that I kind of applied to my story, my novels. Because in my novels, it's like overly, I don't know, I wouldn't say complicated, but there's a lot going on in terms of like other realms and like afterlife kind of stuff.
Right. So
basically I'll just explain in my story, there's what's called the perpetual pillar. And the perpetual pillar is like, think of like this tower, and this tower has different layers and levels, and each layer or level is like its own world or its own realm. And the top layer, layer one, or the first one, that's heaven. That's where the all creator is, the creators.
Right.
And as you start working down, you start going through different levels. And so eventually, down towards the bottom, you reach the living realm or earth. We're one of the places. And below that, there are other levels too. And it just keeps progressively getting like darker, I guess you would say.
That's cool.
And so below the earth is the hell realm. But below hell, there's a realm even below it.
Oh, that's cool.
I call it the faithless realm.
Oh, okay.
And so like in the story, there are some moments where the characters, Oni, interact with people and they're like, go back to hell. And like, we come from below hell.
That's cool. That's neat. That's neat. That's creative. That's a challenge,
But even then, it's like there's actually another thing. It's not necessarily below even the faithless realm. It's like it's completely out of bounds. It's this other thing. It's known simply as the nothingness. And in the nothingness, I wanted to just twist everything and make everything is so weird and inside out, upside down as I could.
Okay.
And when I did that and I was character designing, I had to really just try to think outside the box and come up with all kinds of twisted monsters and things. And one of them, I would say like the main, no name monster that they encounter. It's just like a thing, like the thing where it's just so like nothing matches it. Like all the
Right.
arms and everything is just so
Chaotic.
weird. Yeah, it's just this big thing coming at
Yeah.
you. You're like, what the fuck is this? How do you
That's
kill
cool.
it?
That's kind of Lovecraftian. There's a lot. There's a lot of that kind of shit in H.P. Lovecraft, and that is a whole nother, literally, universe I have really not explored. It's so complex.
Cosmic Horror.
Yeah, it's and that that friend of mine I told you earlier about Austin, the 26-year-old kid who said there's no battles in the first book. He's a total H.P. Lovecraft fucking fanatic. This fucking kid loves that shit. And he knows all the fucking lore and the religion. I'm just like, okay, dude, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But I get it. It's like, because it is fucking cool. It's dark as shit and monsters and gods and all this fucked up shit. But it's just like, man, if I had more time, I could, jump into that fucking rabbit hole. But it's like, I am studying too much shit as is. You know what I mean?
The biggest takeaway from Lovecraft and his understanding of writing horror is basically he started getting into space exploration.
Okay.
He started understanding, during his life, science started getting to the point where people were really delving into space and what's out there.
Right.
And he just started getting this, it wasn't like true nihilism, but it was just this existential, what is it? I can't remember. I'm missing a word here.
Right.
But basically, he was feeling like he was insignificant. Like the cosmos is so big. There's so much mystery out in space.
Right.
What am I? I'm but a speck of dust. There's
and that's the truth. That's how we all are. But
there's actually a fear of space. I don't know what the term
is.
Yeah. But it's just this horror of the mystery of what's out there and why are planets so big?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And then what if there's other species out there? What are they like? Right. It's the ultimate mystery. And so that's what Lovecraft was tapping into. And that's why it's called cosmic horror. And it's just
that's cool.
The scary things about his stories are you can't wrap your head around the horror.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, it's a cult thing, dude. The people who in the fucking H.P. Lovecraft.
That was not what he wanted. That wasn't his.
They are die hard. Like if I had 10 of those people that were into. I need 10 of those kind of people that are into my shit, and I'll be set. You know what I mean? Because they are like fucking cultists, cult followers. They love fucking Lovecraftian shit. So, anyways, moving on. Okay, so my top number one is The Exorcist. As you can see, I think The Exorcist is the most fucked up movie. It's the scariest movie I ever saw. Again, I know I was very young when I saw it, but it's fucked up. It scared the living shit out of me. And even today, if you watch it, it's like it's still fucked up. You know what I mean? It's still disturbing. It just doesn't get old. It like you don't get desensitized to it. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh yeah, look, this is boring. No, it's still, to me, it hits that shit in your head that's like, oh, this is fucked up. You know what I mean? And this movie is older than I am. You know what I mean? So, my number one horror movie in my opinion is The Exorcist. If it's still fucking fucked up today, with 50 something years later, whatever. It's
There's a certain allure to not so much allure, but with The Exorcist being an older film, there's a certain there's a grainier texture to it, and there's more of a raw feel to it
that adds to the horror, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Right.
I saw something recently, or maybe they've already done it. I don't know, but I saw something about them trying to do a full-on genuine remake of the first Exorcist.
Oh God, no! Remakes suck, dude. Remakes all suck. I swear.
And what I'm saying is, even if they do it step for step, shot for shot with new actors and actors, it won't have the same darkness to it because the film is going to be so crisp. It's going to be so modern and smooth and clean. The lighting's going to be perfect. And it's just like if you go back and you take a song from the 70s or the 80s,
right? What is that? It was supposed to be in a Garden of Eden, but it actually is called Inagata Devada. Whatever the fuck. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, dude, that's a creepy ass fucking song. It just.
But like, all I'm saying is like, you take one of those older songs from like the 70s, 80s. They were recorded with really old techniques, and old microphones.
Right.
And so if those bands came back now in 2024 and re-recorded those songs, they could put it to the same metronome, play the same song. Yeah. It's going to sound so crisp and so clean. It's going to sound so modern, so smooth.
Right.
It will lose, like you could say, like its bite.
Loses you're right.
Bite.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, Exorcist is an older film, but like there's like it's almost like it being old gives it a cheat code. It's like it makes it better.
To me, it's one more layer of horror, of unsettlingness to it because it's older. And personally, to me, and I was talking to my brother about this, the 70s, any film that takes place in the 70s or something that was filmed in the 70s, to me, just is creepy. It just has this natural creepiness to it because the 70s was a creepy fucking time. You know what I mean? Everyone knows it. And any film or song or anything from the 70s just has this edge to it. So
there's also
same thing with The Exorcist. You know what I mean?
There's also the fact that films back then were using practical effects.
Yes, which are better. I'll argue
like,
until I'm blue in the face. Practical effects are better than the fucking CGI shit.
Like,
and I mean, CGI is cool. It's just too much, man. It's too much of a handicap. They've taken CGI and completely done away with practical effects, and it's just like it's not as good. I hate to say it, and a lot of people are on that argument where they say the practical effects, the older horror movies, just look better than the shit they're doing today. And I mean, it's true.
Yeah, like now, like if they do a new Exorcist, she would probably vomit CGI vomit.
Right. They wouldn't actually have the vomit hit the actress or actor, whoever the hell it is.
Or like you would see like they would have like her body and like the head spin would be like a digital spin or something, and it would just not fit right.
Right.
Or if they did like the crawling down the steps, it would just be a whole 3D character. It wouldn't even be a human coming down the steps. They would just film steps and they'd be like, all right, cut. That was pretty good.
Yeah. And then this next image is one that really fucked with me when I was younger, and I became obsessed with it. And I love it. It's cool as shit now. I love this devil face. This is Pazuzu, the demon that's inside of her. But this one shot was in a dream that the priest was having. And literally this is like it's like 1 or 2 frames, dude. It's like a flash. It's like all black, and then there's this flash of this face and in the darkness. And it's the priest is having a dream, and it was one of those what do they call it? The shock moments, the jump scares, whatever.
Yeah, like a jump scare.
But it wasn't really intentional because it's silent. It's a dream, and you see these weird images, and all of a sudden there's this flashing face in darkness, and then it goes back to these images. It's almost like a subliminal message.
Yeah, almost.
And the fact that he's dreaming of the fucking demon that is possessed in her is weird because he hasn't even met her yet. He doesn't even know what the fuck's going on, but it's like the demon knows that he's going to get involved. You know what I'm saying? It just adds one more layer of fucking scary, creepy ass shit to The Exorcist. So again, I can talk about The Exorcist forever, but I'm not going to. We're done with The Exorcist. Next on my list is Alien. And I know it's a sci-fi horror, but it's still fucking horror. And if you've ever seen the original Alien, you won't argue that it's one of the baddest ass movies even still today. It still, to me, stands the test of time. And if you haven't watched it recently, watch it fucking again. Because you want to talk about atmosphere? This Alien masters atmosphere. They trailblazed.
Yeah.
If you watch your Event Horizon movie and watch Alien, Event Horizon, I don't even want to say ripped off, but they were heavily inspired.
There's that scene where the guy goes down into like the little tunnel thing.
Yeah.
And he's got to like crawl in there to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I always get alien vibes watching that scene.
Not just that, but the cockpit of the ship. If you look at the architecture, the layout of the ship they're in, dude, they totally were inspired from Alien. Alien was again a movie that changed everything. It blazed a trail, and what Alien did is it made all space stuff worn and rusted and junky and cluttered and it just like claustrophobic. You know, you have fucking wires hanging and fucking shit everywhere, and they're in their little chairs and there's shit everywhere, and it's all cables and computers and that's how it fucking is. Because if you've ever seen the inside of these, space capsules, they're not these big, shining, spacious places. Dude, every square inch of the wall is covered in, because that's how Navy ships are. And I learned that from my brother who's in the Navy, who when I would his Navy tours and you get the tour of the ship. Dude, there's no wall where it's just the wall. There's something there, a fucking wrench or a box or a fucking cable box or a wire, because it's a ship, like in the water, like in space, every square inch of that ship has to be maintained. Like something has to be there. It's storing something or it serves a purpose. And they did that with Alien. And it changed the way futuristic films are portrayed. And I'm telling you, man, like every movie after Alien, they basically did that. They took the design of the ships in Alien, the cockpits, and how they're not sleek and shiny and perfect, and they're all that way. And that was one of the first things I noticed when I just watched Event Horizon the other day. Is I'm like, dude, this cockpit of their ship, almost identical to like Alien. And again, if you haven't watched Alien in a while, man, I would suggest you sit down on a rainy fucking day, since now the rain's coming, and just watch it, because
it ain't rained in a while.
Today, woke up this morning, it was gray and rainy all fucking day. And I love it because it's easier for me to sleep in the day because I'm a night person and shit. My sleep's all like that.
I love rain, but we ain't had good rain in seemed like 2 weeks now.
It's probably you're in Virginia, so I don't know if it's coming your way, but it hit us late last night, this morning. So if it's moving your direction, it'll hit you in a fucking day or two. And then this is just a really cool fucking poster here. Check this out, dude. Look at that. This was something I saw on Twitter, and I'm like, that is a cool fucking poster, because he's right fucking there, man.
Yeah,
this is at
hiding
the end of the movie. But I'm like, that just is a beautiful layout. It's just this bluish grays and black. I'm like, that's fucking cool. So visually, I was really impressed with that. And then what do we got here? What's next? What am I doing? I got, of course, 7. Yes. I won't talk much about this because I talked about it a lot last time. And then this is one I'm throwing in as like a honorable mention. Have you heard or seen this? No, Fright Night. Okay. This was made in the 80s. So it's an 80s horror, right? What this is horror, okay, about a vampire.
Okay.
But it's not like, it's kind of scary in a way, but it's more of like a relatable scary. Like, oh, I almost can relate to that kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's not that bloody or gory or anything. I would say it's a soft R rating. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some rated R movies where it's like it should be fucking NC-17. It's so bad. You know what I mean? Then there's R ratings where like today it could probably pass as a PG-13. I think this today probably would be a PG-13 maybe. You know what I mean? But it's R because there's some, boobies like a couple times. Oh God, can't have that. And there is some kind of fucked up gory blood shit. But to me, Fright Night is an all around from start to finish great fucking movie, great characters. And in my opinion, because I've seen a lot of the vampire movies, all the fucking vampire movies, right? I personally think this is the best depiction of a vampire. I think whoever the fuck created Fright Night, they said, okay, before we do anything, we have to get every bit of information in the history of mankind about vampires and study it. And then we're going to create the vampire character. Because in this movie, Tyler, every whatever characteristic of a vampire is shown somewhere, right? Like they don't. There's no reflection in the mirror. They have to be invited into the house. The wooden stake, the power of the cross, and you have to have faith in order for the cross to be effective. If you don't have faith in the cross, it doesn't do shit. Garlic, all this shit, dude. It's like every single fucking thing that I've ever learned about vampires, this vampire has in this movie. And the only thing is that because it's the 80s, it's 80s, you know, you can tell the clothing and stuff like that. But aside from that, it's fucking great start to finish. So it's called Fright Night. It's the original because, of course, they remade it, and the remake fucking sucks. I saw it, and it sucks. But the original Fright Night, which was, I don't know, 83 or something. I'm not even sure. Or I think 83, 85, somewhere around there. Fucking great. Again, another great movie to see day or night because it's not really scary. You're not going to be terrified from it. You know what I mean? In fact, there's some humorous stuff throughout the movie. But enjoyable overall, especially the characters. Like all the characters. Not only is the vampire cool as shit, because the vampire has wit. He's actually really fucking cool. He's a cool fucking vampire. Every the good guys, the bad guys, everyone's fucking, the characters are well developed. So this is my honorable mention when it comes to horror films.
You might like a film if you haven't already seen it. It's called The Night Flyer.
I've heard of that. What is that about?
A vampire.
Really? Just a vampire? Okay.
Nice
holy shit, man. Oh man, I missed you, brother. This is John Martin. This is a guy I told you about. He's my first friend in my life ever. Wow, if he's still here. Hey, John, what's up? But actually, it's Dr. Martin. He's actually a doctor, I believe.
Put some respect on that name.
I know. It feels so weird to me because it's like, dude, when we were kids, he was playing guitar. His brother was playing drums. And I'm like sitting there watching it in his basement in the summer. And I'm like, I have to call him doctor now. So if you're still here, thanks, man. If you're not, that's cool. I missed your chat comment. So my bad. We were talking too much, as I always fucking do, as you know. But yeah, welcome, John. Glad you could catch the show. So let's see, dude. It's been an hour and a half. I'm getting hungry. I haven't eaten today, so I'm going to fucking eat soon. So is there any other film you want to talk about before we wrap this up? You rattled off a bunch.
Well, we talked about you was talking about movies taking influence from each other and things like that.
Yeah.
One of the movies I mentioned to you was a film called Ghost Ship.
I've heard of. I think I saw that. Is it where in the beginning all the fucking people on board get killed from a wire?
Yeah, they get cut.
I saw it. That's fucked up, dude.
It's like a classic scene.
It is amazing. Yeah.
A lot of people, or critics, will say that scene is amazing, and then the movie sucks. But me, I think it's pretty
kind of. That's the memorable part. Honestly, I don't remember much after that. I do remember that scene. I'm like, that is very creative. That's amazing. Yeah.
The very end, like the very end, is a cool twist. But you gotta get to the very end.
Yeah. A film. So my brother mentioned was the Jesus Christ. Of course, I forget it. We just talked about it. Final Destination. Yeah. Final Destination films. Dude, those are fucking badass. And the one, of course, what's the most famous scene out of all the Final Destinations that you can think of?
Probably it would be the log truck.
Yes, the fucking highway scene.
Because everybody's scared of log trucks now.
Dude, the highway scene, it's I swear to God, everyone, including myself, I have like analyzed that scene, and I am like, as a filmmaker, I don't know how the fuck they did it, because this is on a highway with all these different moving vehicles that they have to film. And it's just, it blows my mind. I would love to see a documentary on how they filmed just that highway scene, because there's so much shit going on at once. And as a storyteller, it would be so easy to confuse the audience. So you have to show everything right when it's happening. You know, it just from a filmmaker point of view, I think it's an amazing scene. It's like that is taking all these elements and they just fit perfectly together to make this awesome scene. You know,
You've seen the Matrix films, right?
Yeah. I saw the first one. Believe it or not, my girlfriend and I didn't like it at all at first. We were the only people on the face of the planet that did not like the Matrix. Because I'm like, this makes no fucking sense. This is stupid. This doesn't make sense. You know, and the one thing that pissed me off the most was when he gets fucking shot and he's dying and the fucking chick kisses him and suddenly comes back to life. I'm like, this is cheesy bullshit. I don't care if he's the one. He just got shot and he's fucking dying, and true love isn't going to fucking save him. He's dead, okay? Have a new hero. And he comes back to life. I'm like, how could he come back to life? How? He can't. He's dead, you know? But he's the one. So what? He just resurrects? I was like, yeah, okay, this is fucking stupid. But I was the only person, you know, my girlfriend and I were the only two people that thought that. Everyone loved the Matrix. You couldn't get out of it. You couldn't fucking not hear about the Matrix for like 3 years. You know what I mean? But I really didn't like it that much.
Well, I was just going to say, like in the second film, the second Matrix, there's a classic scene in that movie where there's like a big battle that happens on an interstate. And to film that, they actually had to build like it was a 1 mile section of interstate.
Wow.
Just out in the middle of nowhere, they just built a whole section of interstate.
That's probably easier because, I mean, you can blow it up.
Shutting down a whole interstate, that's just not going to happen.
That's insane.
And having them jump around on a car surrounded by green screen looks like shit. Yeah. So they built a literal 1 mile stretch of interstate and then had all these cars driving while they're jumping around on wires and doing all the effects. And they would get to the end and then have to go back and they just had to keep doing different patterns, but it worked.
I don't think they did that in Final Destination, right? I think that was an actual highway, right? I mean, it looks like an actual. I don't either. Like I said, I'm gonna have to research to see if there is a making of that scene, because everyone who's seen those movies, that's the scene they think about, is the fucking log truck and the highway, because everyone's driven on the highway. And we've seen all this shit, you know, the motorcyclists weaving in and out, and the fucking person with the hot coffee, and the fucking log truck, and the fucking this, and it's just like we can all relate to it. And so we all kind of have that subconscious fear of that exact thing happening. And I love how they fucking brought that out. And they basically showed you every fucking thing that we're afraid of on the highway. It actually happens. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely that was a good one.
I have a lot of respect, and I take a lot of interest in like certain filmmaking things. So like there's a movie I have over there. I don't even remember what it's called. But the film's interesting. I wouldn't say that I liked the film. It was a creative film. People were just trying something new. You know, someone's got to do something first.
Right.
And so these people, they made a full film. But the film is made with a phone camera.
I've heard of this before.
Like a modern, phone
At
camera.
iPhone or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, this camera is so good, we could do a video with it. And they're like, well, let's put it to the test. So they literally did a whole film with a phone camera.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I saw that on Twitter. Yeah, I've seen that on Twitter.
There's another film, I think it's called 1917.
Okay, the war movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty sure that's the one. When you watch it, the viewing, I haven't watched it, but I want to watch it. It would be a cool film.
Do it.
But from my understanding, the watching experience it's all one take.
Yep.
So
there's no break in the angles. It never stops. It's fucking weird, dude.
There were technically splits,
right?
But they were done so carefully that unless you really know what you're looking for, you wouldn't see it.
That was one of the craziest things about that movie. Now, I guess the movie itself is just amazing. So I haven't seen it, but I've read a lot about it, and I was like, "There's no fucking way they filmed this, and that's impossible."
Even though it's not genuinely from open to close one take,
right?
The shots that are there are significant one takes.
Yeah. No, it's
like not like one.
I should
continuous. Is what
yeah, I should see it because everything I've seen is nuts, but it's like World War I film. This is like a World War I movie. I'm not really big on World War I films. I'm not even big on World War II films.
When
But
get in it,
the sake of it looks worth watching. Like just out of respect for how they did it, and that's a great thought. The art of it, the creative process, because who fucking does that? No one that I know of. That's fucking cool. So I would watch it because of that. But yeah, man. So again,
there's
lots of great films.
There's a film. It's oh man, I haven't watched it in a long time. I got it over. So I've been seeing it so long, but it's a really good one. It's a martial arts film, and it's got a martial artist named Tony Jaa in it.
Okay,
you ever heard of that guy? But Tony Jaa, he's from I think Thailand.
Okay,
and his whole martial art is Muay Thai, and so he does a lot of knees and elbow strikes in his film.
Right,
and man, there is a scene in that movie which is like legendary. It's like modern day legendary. So in this film, there's a fight scene. And this fight scene is a one take.
Wow, that's cool.
And this fight scene goes on for 15 minutes.
Wow.
No joke. It's
that's
just
cool.
15 minutes of him just beating the hell out of people. Actually, that reminds me. I have a movie over there. It's a sword movie, like a Japanese samurai thing.
Okay.
And that movie is a one take.
Wow.
It is a one take.
That's crazy.
And it's like there's not really a story. It's a guy, he's sort of like on the run, and he goes into like a village, and there's a whole bunch of people who show up and are like, there he is, get him. And he fights them for like 15 minutes.
Wow.
Just killing everybody and running around. And then he finally gets away. And then it's like he walks off and he goes into like a building to catch his breath, and he's just there. And the camera's just lingering on him as he's trying to catch his breath. He's literally taking a breather on set.
That's
catching
funny.
his breath.
That's
and
cool.
It's kind of funny. It's not realistic in this way,
right?
But it's hilarious. After every battle, he stumbles into an area and there's a bottle.
Really?
And then he sets it down and he goes off and fights.
That's
and then
cool.
He fights for 15, 20 minutes, battling all these people. And then when he's finally done, and he's all out of breath, he goes into some other building and he like kicks over a box, and then there's a bottle. Yeah, everywhere he goes, there's a bottle.
That's cool.
He knows where all the bottles are. But it's like I don't know, 80-minute, 90-minute film.
Wow.
For 80 or 90 minutes, the actor or the director said action.
And
he just went ham for over an hour.
That's
cool.
That's not easy,
dude. Like it's sword fighting. It is very rapid sword fighting.
Right.
So what happens is in that film, it's very impressive for like 5 or 10 minutes. For like 5 or 10 minutes, you're like, man, this is great.
Yeah.
And then you get past like 10 minutes, and you're like, was that the same move I just saw a minute ago?
Okay. It's not become repetitive.
Yeah. And so then you realize that what's happening is there are certain actors. There's like the main character who the camera is following.
Right.
And then there's probably like, I would say 12 extras.
Right.
12 or 15 extras. And they are like the no name, no face, just random swordsman guys.
Right.
And what happens is they run in and they battle him, and then they fall over dead. And then the camera pans over, they get up and move around. And then they just shuffle back into the fight.
Yeah.
And he fights him again and kills him. And then the camera moves over, and then they get back up, and then they shuffle back into the fight. So he's just killing the same people.
It sounds like they filmed. It sounds like live theater. Like they basically filmed live theater that was on sets instead of a stage.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Just what happened. Like I said, the first like 5 or 10 minutes, it's very impressive.
Right.
And then after that, like from about 10 minutes to about 25, 30 minutes, it gets kind of cheesy, and you're like, I see what's going on here.
That's cool. That's fine.
I see the trick. But then
again, it's some original, you know.
But then after about 30 minutes, then there's like a second wind of like, actually, you know what? I have seen this before. And the motherfucker's still doing it. How is he not out of breath? This is getting impressive.
That's cool.
That's cool. You realize, and so I start watching them, and I realized he had, like, I was actually figuring out how the movie was made as I watched it. So that was pretty fun.
That's cool.
The suspension of disbelief was completely not suspended. I knew exactly what I was watching, and I was actually more entertained from seeing the film opposed to the story.
Yeah,
but I was able to see that what was happening was the swordman, he knew his stunt doubles that he was fighting. He knew their face, and they had practiced certain maneuvers. So certain people, he knew that they had like one or two moves that they were going to do.
Right.
And so anytime one of those guys came up, he knew what moves they were going to do.
Okay.
So he could always counter it and take them out. And
much easier.
The next guy.
Yeah.
Because I knew there was this one guy who he just, you don't notice it at first, but as it goes on, you notice like he got kind of like a big head. And you realize he's got like a big wig on, and he's got some kind of cushion on his forehead. He's got like a big fake wig on with like a little cushion on his forehead. Yeah. And it's because he's the guy who would always die from a strike to the head. He would always take the head strike.
Right.
All over.
Right. Yeah.
And as soon as I'd see him, I'd be like, oh shit, here it comes. And he
that's neat. That's creative. It's something you gotta try something different, I think, especially in film, because there's a hell of a lot of films, you know.
You can't just show up in every film with a 6-shooter and be like, this town is big enough for the two of us.
I mean, yeah, and like I said, I'm seeing this in these horror films. I'm going through these horror films, and like, dude,
a guy with a mask and a knife.
No, I'm blown away by how many fucking horror movies are out and how many have come out. And it's because everything's independent. Because anyone out anywhere, they're making. I'm just like, who the fuck are all these people? There are so many horror movies. It's ridiculous, man. And so my brother and I are trying to catch up on all these because there's so many. It's crazy.
Well, another thing to keep in mind, though, is when it comes to horror movies, a lot of the time, horror movies are the cheapest films to make.
They are. Yeah, they're. Yep.
And it's for a lot of different reasons. But
well, actually, there's Tyler. Now there is a category of film that's even cheaper to make, and we can't really mention it here, but I think everyone knows what we're talking about. Those are the cheapest. You just say action and let it roll, man.
Let the magic happen.
Those are the cheapest.
As people on MTV Cribs would say, this is where the magic happens.
And I mean, talk about, what do you call it? They're the cheapest to make, but some of the biggest profit. It's like,
just make sure there's a camera.
It's like a win-win situation with some of those. I would imagine, because it's just like they will never not fail. No matter what, there's some degenerate somewhere that's going to fucking watch it or pay. So anyways, but I hear what you're saying. When it comes to legitimate films, horror films are
they're cheaper,
least expensive to make.
And then because they're so cheap,
right,
then the profit margin is so much easier, so much wider. It's like, all right, we spent like $3 million on this.
Right.
You go to the movie theater, you make like a $20-30 million turnaround. You're like, all right, let's make 5 more of these.
Some of these horror movies aren't even $1 million. I mean, they're like maybe like right under $1 million or at $1 million. That's insane for a film, a fucking,
and then turn around and make $30 or $40 million.
The thing about it, even if, so let's say your $900,000 film, dude, if it makes $2 million, you're a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's insane how you can do such good quality horror films on such a low budget, and chances are, like, maybe you'll get more sales than DVDs, but eventually you're gonna profit. You know, where you look at some of these big Hollywood films that come out, like, what was the one? Oh, fuck, the one Borderlands film. The Borderlands film, I knew it was going to suck as soon as I heard about it, because it's Hollywood. The casting was a fucking train wreck. Every character was cast horribly. And I said, this is going to fucking go down in flames. And of course it did. It was like, I forget the actual numbers, but it was like, okay, the movie cost $100 million to make. Then they spent $30 million on advertising, marketing. So $130 million total, right? You know what this fucking movie grossed?
It was like terrible.
31 million total. That's it. So they only covered the cost of the advertising for the film. The 30 million in advertising, they covered that, and that's it. And the movie's gone already. So it's just like, there's fucking Hollywood for you. You know what I mean? So how can a movie like that suck so bad, and then you have someone who makes a $900,000 horror film that profits 2 million, 5 million, 10 million? You know what I'm saying?
At this point,
you
a
tell
lot
me.
of people, like more conspiracy theory kind of people, they're theorizing, that the people who are pulling the strings are not in fact idiots who are just wasting tons of money making,
There's
$300 million. They're not making $300 million films and then bombing.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, these people are just robbing. They're robbing the studios.
Yeah, could be. I don't know, man.
They're like, yeah, we need about a $300 million budget for this, and then
you're right.
And then they sink only $100 million into it.
You're right.
And
it could be that.
And then it just flops, and they're like, who cares? And then they themselves run off with $200 million.
That would make more sense than them thinking this $100 million film is going to fucking do great when it sucks shit. And it sucks shit and doesn't make shit.
Hollywood's full of satanic pedophiles, so fuck them. Let's just rob them all blind.
I mean, it is that actually. I've never thought about that, but it's almost like a money laundering type of thing. Yeah, almost.
Yeah.
It's like that would make sense. And you know what? If it ever comes out, I will not be surprised. I'll be like, fucking Tyler was right. No shit, because that would make more logical sense than. They actually think this movie is going to be great, and it's fucking horrible. How can so many people involved in a film? How come one person isn't like, wait, hold on. Let's step back a minute here. The character in the video game is 25, and we've cast a 70-year-old woman to play her. Do you think maybe the audience may have a problem with that? And no one says that. What the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean?
It's like that woman, Kathleen Kennedy. A lot of people bash on her, but they're like, why isn't she gone yet? And a lot of people kind of jokingly ask, they're like, what does she have on Bob Iger and all them? Like,
maybe
keeping them from letting her go.
Probably.
It's like, well, my opinion, my speculation, maybe what if they had a budget that was bloated, $1 billion film or some shit, crazy amount, and then they didn't put that in the movie, and they split it up, and now she knows that the higher ups did that, and it's like, well, put me in the next film so I can get some more money, or I'll go to the press and I'll say what you did.
Anything when it comes to Hollywood, dude, anything goes. I swear to God. But like you said, it's to me, they're the majority, not everyone, but the majority of them they're fucking Satan worshiping pedophiles. So on that note, we're gonna wrap this up. So thanks for hanging out, man. I totally appreciate it on a fairly short notice because that was only a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But yeah, great movies you talked about, man. Like I said, I am going to buy Silent Hill because you mentioned it, and I just realized how good it is. So. Dude, that scene is fucking badass. That is such a badass scene. And so that was cool. So yeah, this was cool. This is a cool night, man. Thanks for doing this. And
one last thing. A movie that I had mentioned is 13 Ghosts.
Right.
You ever seen that or heard of that?
Never even heard of it or seen it. No.
Okay, so I haven't seen I think there was an original 13 Ghosts or something similar to 13 Ghosts. And the original thing is very cool and creative. So with the original, the way it was, I don't know when it was, the 60s maybe, whenever it came out. They had the classic 3D glasses.
Okay.
Like the red and blue.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Right.
Anyway, the way they did a trick with the film so that if you go into the film and you watch it, you see somebody on screen and that's all you see. You're like, what the hell? But the audience members who had the glasses, there was an effect so that they could actually see a ghost.
Weird. That's cool.
So only the people wearing the glasses could see the ghosts.
Wow, that's neat.
So
That's
if you walked into the theater just as the popcorn guy or something,
yeah.
you would just see someone on screen. Oh my god!
Reacting, yeah.
Yeah, but there was nothing in front of them, and you're
That's
like,
cool.
This is weird. But then the people that are sitting in the seats with the glasses, when you put the glasses on, they go over your eyes. There's the monster.
That's neat, dude.
It was a color effect. You couldn't see it with your normal eyes, but
that's cool.
Once they added that, it was there.
Wow.
Well, anyway, in the modern, the newer adaptation of 13 Ghosts, which came out in like 2001, 2002, they kind of lived in that spirit. So, like in the film, there are ghosts.
Right.
There's these 12 evil ghosts, and the characters can't see the ghosts.
Okay.
They're just invisible
until
the characters put on the magical glasses.
Oh,
so the character. So they took the idea of it, but they put it more in the screen.
That's
so
cool.
Now the audience members don't have to put on the glasses.
Gotcha.
It's the characters.
The characters
who have to put on the glasses. And so what happens is the characters are inside this, basically a haunted house. It's a house made of glass.
Ooh,
they're
cool.
inside a house entirely made of glass.
Wow.
And they're trapped in it. They can't get out. It's
Damn.
shatterproof.
Ooh,
so they can
that's
see
crazy.
the outside world, but they can't get to it.
Wow, that's bad.
And the house is haunted by these evil ghosts, and they're now trapped in there with them.
Damn.
It's like a torture prison basically, and they're inside it. And
this is 13 Ghosts?
Yeah, this is 13 Ghosts.
I meant to check it out.
And when they put on the glasses, they can see the monsters they're in, and they're just running around this glass maze trying to get away from them.
Weird.
And I'll say this one other thing is, in the heart of the house, there's like a clock, a super clock. And as the clock is ticking and turning, it's counting down. And every time it reaches a certain point, like when the timer starts, well, I don't want to ruin everything.
Right.
But what I will say is the house is always shifting.
Okay.
So they're in this maze made of glass, and the walls that are made of glass, they move and they keep closing and opening. So
weird.
When you come through certain areas, you'll get used to you can't get used to a hallway and be like, okay, I know the way out.
Yeah.
Because in like 90 seconds or however long, it changes. So then you're just lost. You don't know what to do. It's crazy. An interesting movie.
Well, that's one more to add to the list. So yeah, like I said, it seems like there's an endless amount of horror movies. So anyway. This was a good stream for our Halloween week. So I will keep in touch with you like I always do on Twitter, man.
Yeah, man.
And
we'll see each other around.
Yeah, I'll see you around, and I'll figure out what the hell's going on with like the future upcoming streams and stuff. I'll probably need your help again soon, because you seem to be kind of like my number one guest host streaming buddy here. So if you don't mind it, it's cool. I appreciate having you on.
Commander Fun's always here.
Commander Fun, exactly. All right, dude. So we'll end that. So anyone who's watching, thanks. And thanks to Danny and Rick and John Martin Dr. Martin for joining the chat, which is really cool. And Dr. John Martin, next time, man, talk more, and I will catch you, and we can have a little back and forth here. It'd be cool. So, yeah, that's it for tonight, everybody. Thanks, and hopefully we'll see you next Sunday. So, Tyler, man, take care, brother. And we are out of here. Good night.
See ya.